Hey there, it's Tara, and I am back with another Wednesday video where I'm going to be answering one of your comments or questions that you have left in my videos. So if you ever want your comment or question answered in one of my videos, all you have to do is put it in the comment section below. Okay, today's question is all about fat, and the Holistic in Me asks, have you noticed any changes in your hormones since raising your fat intake? I've noticed that many women say eating more fat like what you are doing has had beneficial impacts on their hormones and menstrual cycle. Just curious if this was the case for you. I have raised my fat intake as well from strictly 10%, and I feel much better allowing myself to eat nuts, seeds, avocados, etc. It's crazy how we have to relearn to allow ourselves to eat these yummy foods. Okay, so have I noticed any changes in my hormones? The men out there might not be interested in this, but for the ladies, I have definitely noticed changes in my hormones and just the way that my body reacts to the food that I'm eating since increasing the amount of fat in my diet specifically. In the beginning, when I first started eating 80-10-10 style, which for those of you who don't know what that is, that's really low fat, really high carb. In the beginning, I actually lost my monthly cycle altogether. That doesn't mean that I wasn't ovulating. It's this misconception that if you don't have your monthly flow or your period, that you are also not ovulating as well. It's not the case. The two aren't necessarily correlated. But I lost my monthly flow in the beginning. And then I ate low fat for years because I thought that's what I had to do, and I had so much fear around fat. I was so stuck in this mentality of the fat you eat is the fat you wear, and I was terrified of getting fat. That was, in my mind back then, that was the worst possible thing that could happen to me. So I just barely ate any, and I felt guilt and shame and fear anytime I did eat fat. Obviously, I don't feel that way anymore, but while I was going through that period of time where I was terrified and I wouldn't eat more than half of an avocado a day without feeling immense guilt and shame, I actually had very painful monthly flows, and they would last forever, like 8 to 10 days. And since I kind of I let up on myself, I got a little more lenient with my diet and just said, fuck all of this restriction mentality of having to fit in this box of eating really low fat because that's, what I think I should do. I'm gonna eat as much fat as I want, as much as I feel satisfied eating, and I'm gonna try to listen to my body and be more intuitive. Since I started doing that, it has affected a lot of things in my body. So the first thing is my monthly flow. It lasts like 4 days now. I only have a little bit of discomfort the first day, and I think that's fairly normal for me. One thing it has impacted is my skin, and I won't say it's for the better. When I was eating really low fat and really high carb, my skin was amazing. When I didn't eat any salt or any spices, it was so clear and so bright, and I definitely had more of a glow. The problem with that, though, is that it wasn't sustainable for me. Like, I felt like a crazy person. So while my skin looked better than, I would say it looked better then than it does now, it wasn't worth it because I was craving fat all the time. So now that I eat more fat, I definitely notice during certain times of the month, specifically before I get my monthly flow, I get some breakouts, and that's just the way it is. But for me, it is worth experiencing that to have the peace of mind of feeling satisfied and not have to feel all the guilt and fear and shame around eating specific foods. So totally worth it for me. That is the biggest change I have noticed. I also noticed a big change in my moods and my energy levels. So like I said, I used to crave fat a ton when I wasn't eating it. I don't know whether that was because I needed the fat or whether it was because I had put it off limits. And the minute I make a rule for myself like that and put something off limits and tell myself I'm not allowed to have it, I instantly want to rebel and do the exact opposite of what I've told myself I'm allowed to do. But I noticed that I'm much more stable because I'm not this crazy person going around thinking, I can't have any fat, fat is bad, fat is evil, the fat you eat is the fat you wear, I'm gonna get fat. It was an obsession, it was insane. Now I don't have those thoughts anymore. I just eat the food I eat and that's it. Like, there's nothing. I just feel totally fine and completely normal, like you're supposed to feel when you eat food. But it's not just my mood stability, it's my energy stability because I feel much more satiated after eating a higher fat meal than I do after eating a higher carb meal. I still probably only eat about 30% fat in my diet, but with that kind of percentage, I just feel a lot better. So those are the normal, or the changes that I have noticed since I started eating more of a balanced, I won't say normal, but more of a balanced raw food lifestyle and not going to either extreme, which is really high fat, or the other extreme, which is really low fat. If you have any comments or questions about this topic or any other topic you want me to answer in a video on a Wednesday, post it in the comment section below. And let me know if you have had any experience with changes in your body by raising or lowering your fat intake. I just want to say with this video that I am not saying that higher fat or lower fat is better. I think it's very much an individual thing. So you have to experiment for yourself. And if anyone is wondering whether you should eat a certain percentage of fat, my advice to you would be to experiment. Try eating really low fat, try eating a moderate amount, and also try eating very high fat. You'll know right away how you feel, and I would always base it off of how you feel and then go with what feels good. And what feels good to you might not be the same for me or anyone else, and it doesn't matter because we're all different in that aspect. So thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more content like this, hit that little red subscribe button down below, and I will catch you next time.